we are learning that the judge who we were just talking about, who released 6 of those migrant suspects without bail, is allegedly the same judge who released 2 suspects accused of attacking a New York City police officer back in the month of November.
Fox News legal analyst Gregg Jarrett joins us now. Greg, what do you make of this? You used to live in the city, and these judges...
You got out smartly.
They have the authority to do something. It's not just the DAs, it's the judges too, right?
Yeah, it is. And you're right, I fled, like many people, because progressives have a death grip on New York. They embrace crime and disorder instead of law and order. So what you're seeing here is quite typical of how judges, DAs, New York politicians, they really don't care about the safety of cops or innocent civilians who are preyed upon by gangsters and thugs. No, they only care about helping and defending criminals, not protecting innocent people who are constantly being victimized. So is it any wonder that, New York is now this dystopian hellhole of crime and violence? Felony assaults continue to skyrocket. Those numbers just came out today, and sadly, residents are to blame. They're the ones who elected these far-left progressives who dominate in Albany and the city council in New York. They're the ones who enacted the insane no cash bail law. So, now it's just a revolving door. Criminals rule.
But it's
That's
so interesting,
like allowing the inmates to run the asylum.
Because the mayor has said, hey, listen, we got to rein this in on bail reform. I can't process a crime. I can't even do my discovery in this short amount of time. I'm letting people go. Judges, in some cases, don't have discretion. So you have left-wing activists who are the speaker, Carl Hastie, and others who are still there to say defund the police. And the crazy city council who's way to the left of the mayor. People think the mayor and governor have control. They really don't, even though they're in the same party. How crazy is that?
Well, it is crazy, and what's equally insane is the fact that there is this tremendous apathy in New York. I think it was roughly 23% voted in the last election, and those were the very rabid far-left progressives who, continue to put these people in office who, as I say, care about criminals, and they embrace crime and disorder and forget about law and order and innocent victims.
Greg, we're waiting on the Supreme Court to decide the immunity case for Donald Trump. He's saying he had presidential immunity. They haven't made a decision on that. But yesterday, a New York judge in that hush money trial, he rejected Trump's request for a delay. Trump said, let's wait to hear from the Supreme Court, and he said no. What's your reaction?
Yeah, Judge Merchan claims Trump didn't raise the immunity defense soon enough, waiting until last month. That is simply not true. Trump's lawyers first argued immunity in May of last year, literally 30 days after the indictment by Alvin Bragg. So the judge was put on notice from the outset, yet in his order yesterday, Juan Merchan pretends, this is something new and therefore it's untimely. Well, it's not. And remember, it was only a month ago the Supreme Court agreed to resolve the issue of immunity. And because of that, days later, Trump's lawyers then renew the immunity argument in the Manhattan prosecution, asking Merchan, let's wait till the high court decides. That is eminently reasonable, and any fair judge would simply wait. But Merchan is not that kind of a judge.
He is not going to wait. It sounds like the trial is going to start within the next 2 weeks. Greg, I'm sure you saw, I think I saw it on Drudge. I saw a headline that Trump could actually go to jail over this. Is that possible?
Sure. I think the standard would be upon conviction about 4 years here. Look, the judge and Alvin Bragg want to rush this case to a conviction in advance of the election, and they're doing it by depriving Trump of all legitimate defenses, including immunity, that the law allows. This is sort of the antithesis of justice. And in many ways, it's quite shameful because all of these cases against Trump seem to have one common denominator. They're politically motivated and intended and timed to interfere in the presidential election.
But, Greg, he's not going to jail. I don't know anyone who really thinks that he's going to jail if he's convicted on this. Do you?
Oh, I don't rule anything out. I mean, given the participants here, Alvin Bragg, Judge Juan Merchan, he's issued a gag order, which is a prior restraint on free speech. It's presumptively unconstitutional. There's no exemption in the First Amendment that protects judges from criticism or their immediate family members who appear to have a vested interest in the case. Here Merchan's daughter is a political activist. She runs a prominent liberal consulting firm. Her clients reportedly raised millions in campaign donations by citing her dad's case. I mean, that is a severe conflict of interest that warrants recusal, I think.
And he donated, and the judge donated to President Biden's campaign. And we would think his wife might have actually been working for Letitia James. It's crazy.
Just never seen a judge as well as a DA or prosecutor want to speed up a trial. Normally it's the defendant that wants to speed up the trial because they're locked up and they're not on bail and they want to clear their name. Now you have a prosecution or a justice trying to speed up the process. You can only say that's because of the election, right, Greg?
Yeah, I mean, the right to a speedy trial embedded in the Constitution is the right of the accused.
That's right.
Not the accuser, the DA, or the right of the judge to speed this along. And as I say, this conflict of interest involving Judge Merchan, at the very least, creates the appearance of impropriety that's strictly prohibited by the Code of Judicial Conduct. Merchan doesn't care. He ignores those rules.
And it sounds like the trial will start within about 10 days. Greg, thank you very much for getting up early today. I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.